Okay, welcome back, y'all. We're doing our last video on solving linear inequalities, and this is with special cases. Mainly, I'm going to talk about horizontal and vertical lines. Okay, so this one says graph the solution set for y is greater than -3 is 0, 0 solution. Okay, one of the things you have to notice here is that we are missing a variable. There is no x. And if there's no x, what we need to do is graph y equals 3 with a solid or dashed line. Sorry, not y equals 3, y equals -3. With a solid or dashed line. Since we're looking at y is greater than -3, I need to figure out how I'm going to graph y equals -3 either with the solid or dashed line. Well, this, of course, will be, if you've been paying attention to the previous videos, will be dashed. So, I'm going to graph y equals -3 as a dashed line. And then you can kind of think about this the same way, right? The question is do we shade above or below? And this one's going to be pretty straightforward because it's y is greater than, right? So we're going to shade above the line. Which makes sense. I mean, the numbers that are bigger than -3, because the question is when y is greater than -3, are all above -3. So the question here is 0, 0 a solution? The answer is yes. Now you can also check this by plugging it in. The only difference here is you might be going, well, there's no x to plug 0 in. That's okay, you don't have to have it. You could just plug 0 in for y. And is 0 bigger than -3? Yep. Absolutely. So it's not that it's difficult, but it is worth seeing because it's a different type of problem. So example 5 says graph the solution set for when -4x is greater than 12. Okay, well, notice something here. There's no y now. Now this one's not difficult, but it does throw people off. So the first thing we want to do is still isolate your variable, right? So typically it's been y, but since there's no y, we're going to isolate x. So I'm going to take -4x greater than 12, divide by -4. So remember, I'm dividing by a negative, so that flips. We get x is less than -3. Okay, well, if we're doing x is less than -3, step 2 would be, that's going to be the dashed line of x equals 3. Or sorry, x equals -3. I did the same thing earlier. And then if you kind of think ahead, our next question usually has been shade above or below, but ladies and gentlemen, we don't have an above or below this line. This line's going up and down. So now we're going to ask, do we shade left or right? We only ask that if there's no y value. If it's a vertical line, that's the only time do we ask to shade left or right. So if x is less than -3, the numbers less than -3 are to the left of it, so I'm shading left. And that would be our solution set there. So hopefully these were clear. If you watched this video and only this one, it's probably a little confusing. I would suggest watching the first two, which I've linked down in the comments below. And you guys rock.